Dragons. They are one of the coolest fantasy creatures to ever be created. In the world of Elder Scrolls, you can encounter some of these mystical beasts for yourself. They are well known for their affinity for magic, and this actually explains how they are able to fly despite their lack of aerodynamic frame. They are large-scaled creatures and come with a variety of traits, aesthetics, and powers. They are intelligent creatures, capable of holding their own goals and even of running their own societies. They are said to have lived around isolated mountain villages, where there were areas that allowed flight free of obstruction. Such areas also were great for raising cattle. In fact, there is even some evidence which suggests that dragons practiced smithing. They're a lot more complex than people would originally think. Today I will teach you 5 facts about the dragons, and to begin with we have fact number 1. Dragons have a very fascinating personality and even have their own language. First, let's talk about their personality. Dragons are very smart, and just like mortals, they are susceptible to feelings of depression, shame, pride, and anger. Let's just say that they tend to have big egos. They are quite distrustful too, even of their own kind. Also, similarly to many mortals, dragons can be driven mad if kept in isolation, and are relatively social creatures. They also feel an intrinsic desire to dominate others, and this lust for power can be very challenging to overcome. Interestingly enough, dragons believe that being right and being powerful are the exact same thing. They do not hold a distinction between fighting and speaking. Their battles are deadly verbal debates, quite literally, which ties into their unique language. As you would know, dragons can breathe fire, and this is actually them using their words to speak magic. They can propel a lot more than just fire from their mouths, as I'm sure you've seen while playing Skyrim for yourself. The ancient dragon language can even be learnt by mortals to produce magic effects from shouting. This ability is known as the Thum, and can be learnt after intense training, and is easily mastered by those who are Dragonborn. Not all words produce magic effects, of course, but many can be used to conjure fire, wind, or cold, and even push enemies flying or slow down time itself. The dragon language is similar to English in terms of structure, but it tends to ignore verb tense, to place prepositional phrases earlier in sentences, and doesn't have any equivalent to English's apostrophes. Now let's get into some history with fact number 2. The exact origin of the dragons is technically unknown. They were indigenous to the continent of Akavir, but fled to Tamriel when the Sisi snake race tried to consume them. How did they get to Akavir in the first place though? How are they even made? We know that dragons do not breed as animals and mortals do. There are no examples of dragon eggs in Elder Scrolls. Many believe that dragons are the children of Akatosh, and Alduin proclaims to be the firstborn of this Aedra. In fact, Dremora have been questioned by the College of Whispers on the matter. The Dremora claimed that the dragons simply were and are eternal, unchanging, immortal, and unyielding. This makes the dragons very otherworldly, especially when you consider that their souls endure beyond physical death. They can only be killed truly if their soul is absorbed by a dragon or a dragonborn. Very strangely, it is even believed that the leader of the Kapo Tun, the tiger people of Akavir, was successful in transforming himself into a dragon. Fact number 3. Dragons ruled over men in the Merethic era. Men had come to Tamriel from Atmora and brought with them their worship of animal gods. Dragons were considered the most powerful among these and soon became their literal god kings. In Atmora, there was peace between dragons and men, and this was created by the dragon priests, who demanded tribute and formed peacekeeping laws. However, in Tamriel, in Skyrim specifically, things were different. The dragons embraced their role as superior, and so did the dragon priests. The dragons believed they were superior due to their size and abilities, and the dragon priests also felt like gods, as the dragons actually bestowed special powers upon them. The dragons gave their favorite dragon priests magical masks, which further increased their abilities. So what was the difference between this and Atmora? Well, in Tamriel, things got really out of hand. Whether it was due to a very ambitious dragon or a corrupt dragon priest, no one knows for sure. But essentially, the dragon priests began to rule with an iron fist. They became the new kings and virtually made slaves of the rest of the mortal population. This caused a great dragon war, with the populace rebelling. The dragon priests failed to collect the tribute and lost control over the masses. Now, the dragons responded quickly and dangerously. Men died by the thousands, but Kain intervened, instructing Paarthurnax the dragon to help mankind. He taught taught the men the power of the voice to help them defeat the dragons, and they did destroy them in large numbers. The Age of Dragons came to an end. Alduin was banished forward in time using an Elder Scroll, and other dragons fled to remote places where they could be safe. The dragon cult also survived, building dragon mounds where they entombed the remains of dragons that fell in the war, believing that one day they would rise again to reward those who were faithful. Fact number 4. While the Age of Dragons did come to an end, dragons did not become fully extinct straight away like many people thought. They lived on over the years as their numbers slowly dwindled. Their population in Akavir was exterminated. The dragons in Vardenfell were overrun by invading cliff races. The Dragon Guard and the Blades hunted dragons and their followers throughout the eras. This did occur over a long period of time until the dragons were almost extinct. Tiber Septim even offered the dragons protection for serving him, although eventually almost all known dragons were killed or never seen again. He had a dragon called Nefala Largus who acted as his loyal soldier. However, this dragon was defeated by Cyrus, a Redguard hero. While it was thought that all dragons were gone, there were still a few here and there that existed, but they were extremely rare. Some believe that the dragons were absorbed by Tiber Septim when he ascended to godhood, and others believe that they simply disappeared all at once, being devoured by some sort of dragon king. Obviously, these theories weren't true, due to the fact that a very tiny amount of dragons did still exist. Fact number 5. These spiky creatures with sharp talons returned in force during the 4th era in the events of Skyrim when Alduin the World Eater finally reappeared in Tamriel. Dragons had been pretty much all but absent for hundreds of years, but Alduin, the self-proclaimed firstborn of Akatosh, started resurrecting them. As you know, Alduin had been transported through time by the ancient Nords, but by the time of Skyrim, that future date had become the present. Alduin the World Eater was causing serious trouble for Skyrim, and likely would have created a massive problem for Tamriel if it wasn't for the Dragonborn, who emerged to defeat Alduin and the other dragons. Being a Dragonborn, the Dovahkiin could absorb their souls, defeating them permanently. He absorbed the souls of many dragons, which Alduin brought back to life, and ended up beating Alduin himself. However, the Dragonborn didn't kill every dragon, and the fate of the remaining dragons is still not known. Subscribe to FudgeMuppet for more amazing lore videos like this. Thanks so much for watching the video, and if you do love dragons, remember to give the video a massive like. Our social media links can be found in the description below if you happen to be interested. My name is Michael, this was Elder Scrolls lore about dragons, and I look forward to nerding out with you all again very soon.